one revolution.
Bookmarklets on standby.
Log online, fan page loaded and ready.
Player stats, loaded. Health check, go.
Weapons check. Eyes check, complete.
We have launched for the Informant podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alrighty, welcome to the Informant podcast. I'm Pistol Pete, and tonight I have with me Jenna and Jennifer. What's happening?
Not a whole lot. Very nice weekend.
Same old stuff. Yes,
Same
it
old
was
stuff.
a nice weekend.
It really was.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Not so much with Zynga.
No?
Did they,
Well, I
make-
mean, there was
did they have a
noth-
bad weekend?
Well, there was nothing really new. Like, I purposely didn't make many blog posts because I kind of wanted to play and get, do real life stuff.
But that's good to have a relaxed weekend
Yeah,
and
it
not
was
have to
nice
worry
weekend.
about everything.
I leveled
You
a
know.
whole bunch of times.
Did you? Well, yeah.
And
God.
I got up to 11 on property, too.
Gosh, I was going to ask you where you were at on that.
Not a whole lot of time left.
On the
5
Shamrock
days.
one? Is that what? Yeah, 5
Oh,
days
there's
left.
5 days left?
Yeah. Doesn't matter to you. You're done in like day 3, but anyway. But at least it seems more feasible that I might make it there to the end. We'll see.
You
what
should
Is
happens.
it just to level 11? Because I'm at 10.
No, it's to 15.
Oh, okay.
Well, 11's when you can get the lowest of the
Okay,
bare
so
knuckle
that's
fighter
what my
or whatever,
goal is,
but
right?
you get well, it is really, because that's when you can actually get the best of the skill points,
I can do it. Okay.
but the lowest of the actual stats on the actual item, the bare knuckle fighter.
Well, I have a little bit of hope then, because I am a level 10. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I've
like
always been
that.
trying to do, is make it to 11. But I don't know. I'm getting to think, and the next one I may just bail. We'll see what happens.
I know. Yeah.
Because it's
well,
like I said, if it's something people don't want to see anymore, then we just need to stop doing it. And
Yeah,
I'm getting a bit
okay.
tired of having all these properties that, I'm not crafting every one of them. So what's the point of having them? And I already still craft a lot of my old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Robber's Utility Belt gives me a +6 stamina. Well, none of the other properties have offered that yet.
Yep.
So why would I want to? I mean, I'm always going to continue to build the same place.
Unless a mission or something tells you
Yeah.
otherwise.
guess
I
it's
have a
armory, but
question.
Sure.
Now, I know we always preach that loot becomes obsolete, so it's not a big deal, and you should focus more on the skill points. But since they introduced these level 15 properties, I really like getting that loot item that's going to help my score. And I noticed that in my selection of the 5 properties, I'm honing in on those, and I want, there's 4 now. I want the 4 better loot items. And I'm kind of sacrificing what I could get. There's better skill points out there. And I
So
know,
you want
like,
the goodies.
in a couple months, I'll probably be like, oh, that was stupid. But does anybody else do that? Like, craft a property because they want that assassin or the bare knuckle fighter?
I do.
I used to, but then I started to realize there were so many, and I didn't want to waste the skill point anymore. So I kind of gave up on it. For a while there, I was very much a collector. I tried to get one of everything, and all that, even the stuff that was in the marketplace and stuff. But it just seemed like there was so much now that it was like it wasn't attainable anymore. And that was
Right.
that,
Without spending thousands.
yeah, and I'm not going to do that. I'll dribble here and there, but, I'm not going to do that. And so for me, when it's not attainable within reason, then I'm not even going to bother with it. And, I kind of, say that they probably shot themselves in the foot a little bit. And I realize I'm only one player of many, but, I'm sure there are probably other people in the same situation. I would normally buy what's that special, marketplace item, the collector's edition thing.
Yeah.
But then I also realized, well, crap, if you miss one, you can't get the other ones. So then now you're kind of up a creek again. And it's like, there's always got to be a way to kind of stay with the program. If they're going to start a program like that, then there needs to be a way to buy these old things over time too. Even if it's just repeating at some time in the future. It's like the properties, you get them to level 10, 11, and then you never have an opportunity to do anything with it again, short of reward points spent on parts to build them up. And to me, that's not encouraging me to to try to complete them at some point, it just causes me to have frustration and say, it's just one more thing I can't do in the game. So, well, all right, moving on.
It happens.
They could make it
to
fun.
A lot of players, too.
Yeah. They could have an event where it's not a new property, it's your chance to upgrade old properties.
Just pick one for the weekend.
Before,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Or just in general, just have, a property or have a property release, but then let you choose which one you're sending the items around for.
Yeah, if we're going to choose which one we want active.
So then why not go that route?
They could call it property redo.
Yeah, that's right. Redux. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. So that's kind of where I stand.
But they do know we hate those. They did say that we could paraphrase the minutes to the first pack meeting. I chose not to do that because I realized that in the big picture, there's probably maybe 50 people that care about the pack that are outside of it.
That many?
Well, it's funny. I was telling you guys, I made a post about what they said at PAC, and it got 6 likes, and it was read by maybe 600 people. And to put it in perspective, I had made another post about the workaround to unframing that Brandon Vannery made. That post was read by almost 25,000 people, and it had about 3,000 likes. And so you put that in perspective, that's what people really care about. Like, they don't really care what's going to happen to the game until they see it in the game.
Yep.
So I decided the less I say about the pack, the better, because every time I write something about it, some bozo takes screenshots of my words and, twists them all around and posts them on the forums. But the fact of the matter, it's probably just the people bashing the pack that are reading this stuff.
Yeah, the only people are our haters.
Right. So I say let Zynga make the information public, and I'll make posts referencing what Zynga says, but I'm no longer going to go out of my way to provide information because all it does is backfires and causes more controversy over it. It's not my job to inform people outside of what Zynga is willing to do. So, and we can talk about what they said in here, but that's going to be my new policy now.
Very good.
We deal with enough drama as it is.
Word. I hear you. A lot of drama. You deal with more than most.
Oh, Pete's been dealing with some too. And Spockholm's been under attack.
The whole drama over on the Mafia Wars Loot Lady wall over, whether or not a thing is a bot or it's not a bot or, there's different definitions and each person has their own. I've never held to using Webster's dictionary for it. I've held to a version that I've created and we've kind of lived by at Spockholm in order to try to create safe scripts for the community. Does that mean that other scripts are not safe? No, not necessarily. Some of the other ones out there may be perfectly safe. If, people don't agree with us, that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I kind of joked about it. For those that have been listening to the show and listened to me, I have a nasty habit of creating what I call Pete-isms. And, there's things that nobody else quite knows. Spocklet was one of them. There's been a few others over time. And it was funny, Martin said something to the effect in one room that, if you look up Pete-ism in the dictionary, it actually says see Pete-ism.
You like making up words.
I do. It's fun.
So did you make up the word bot?
No, I did not make up bot. I made up my definition of bot. And in the context of Mafia Wars, I've certainly, had no problem sharing my opinion on what I think a bot is versus what something isn't. And I've talked about it on the show before. I mean, to me, a bot is something that does every action in the game for you without intervention. Period. Now, do I consider a repeat job or an assassinator a bot? No, I don't, because it does one specific action and it requires manual intervention to switch from that action to go do something else. Do I believe that there are other scripts out there that are actually bots? Yeah, anything that is a drone that will go out there and actually do one thing to the next, that to me is a bot. But, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Anyway, and then in regard to something else that came up on one of the last shows, I said something about this new heal timer that came up in the game that, was brought to our attention by a gentleman with the add-on. And, to give credit where credit is due, Kevin at Player Scripts is the one that claims to have made the most progress with Zynga on getting that type of change in place. So kudos to you, Kevin. We appreciate it. If you weren't, then I'm sure somebody else will step up and tell them that they were the first, because that's the way things work in this community. Our philosophy at Spockholm has always been to write good scripts, and some people write them better than others. Martin and Ike write them way better than I do, but I've had my fair share of luck with things over time. And, we just write good scripts. They're open source. We let people use them. And the intention is to just make the game a little bit easier and life, to go on. We've never gotten into, being about the money. We were going to find a way to make our servers run and do whatever we had to do to keep them running, regardless of whether or not we ever got one donation. Yeah, I don't know. It's too petty for me. I don't have the time, energy, or desire. It's a hobby for us. It's not the be all end all. If we're not doing this, we're doing something else, I guess. You know what I mean? So
like a podcast.
Like a podcast or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, and a lot of these script guys usually help each other a lot. It's not so much a competition, but just bettering the community for everybody. Yeah, really, isn't that what I've always gathered from you?
There's a lot of that. I mean, and over time, there's been people that have come and gone. I mean, for a while there, Aaron wrote a bunch of scripts that did really great things for the community. Brawler was one of them. Now, subsequently, I think some people have kind of bastardized his work, for lack of a better term, and now created versions of it that are working much faster than they were originally
but Brawler,
intended.
He's gone, though.
Yeah, but Aaron's not doing that anymore. And so, hopefully, other people step up and create other great scripts. I mean, there's, going back in time, the script community's been around a really long time. I mean, you had Bobby Hartrate and you had Earnhardt.
Old school.
Way old school. Was that an analyzer?
No, that was the actual Dirty Martini.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, this has been around a long time. This is not something that's new to the community. I mean, and there's been other players in the game. I mean, there is player scripts. There is, what's his name? Scruffy. There's Guest X. I mean, there's all kinds of people that have been doing modifications to the game that, have made it better for people. Now, some of them have gone to the dark side and created something that was a little bit, not so safe for the people, and that's what's probably causing Zynga some, grief now. And I think they'll get it under control. But anyway, that's it for us. We had a couple of small fixes here and there. Anyway.
I know one thing you could mention.
What's that?
It's something that we should be seeing soon with the district tabs.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to mention it. I was going to let it be a surprise, like it always is on me.
I was serious.
No, now that you mentioned it, I got to say something.
Oh, maybe we shouldn't, to see if people congratulate Zynga.
Yeah, tell us for a day and then tell the rest of the people.
Yeah. No, all right. We'll spread the word. Okay. When the new toolbar releases, there is a option now, or I guess it's not an option. We probably should make it an option so that people can turn it on or off. But there's a way that now when you're looking at your districts, and you got that one little district menu and then the other one next to it that says additional districts if there's any available, and that's on your jobs tab. Then we've now added individual district buttons for each of the other districts within that particular city. So you could actually just jump in a hurry from, District 1 to District 6, back to District 4, wherever else. So it's kind of like these little shortened buttons. So it has like D1, D2, D3, and then you can kind of jump around. And what it was is, and again, I talked about this before, when we play the game and we find things that just don't seem right, or you want to get from place to place in a hurry, that's what was, a necessity is the mother of invention. Martin had gotten a little frustrated with the travel menu. And so he said, well, what if I did this? And that's kind of how it grew. And that's where and why the option got added to the toolbar. So
I thought it was cool, and I thought it was Zynga, and I took screenshots of it, and I was going to make a blog post. But when I hovered my mouse over the button, I saw real quick it said Spockholm toolbar.
And on the Revolver of Death also now says a feature of Spockholm.
Oh, does it?
Uh-huh.
I didn't notice that.
Next time you get it, hover over it, and it'll say, you won't ask yourself if it's Zynga or Spockholm anymore.
Well, Martin's pretty... Yeah. Martin really likes the hover option because every time, like, I'll ask a question, hey, what does this do? He'll say, hover the mouse, and it will tell you.